Welcome to the Imperfect Dads Podcast. This is your host, Devin. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. On this episode, we have on Brian Wecht from the bands Go Banana Go and Ninja Sex Party, and he also hosts a podcast, Leighton Night. We talked to him about Go Banana Go's new album, Slippery When Peeled, pretending to charge his daughter rent, his daughter wanting to be in his band, how we went from being an academic to being in the band Ninja Sex Party, having a kid while in the United Kingdom, and things we both thought were normal growing up and realized totally weren't. And also just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad. But anyway, an attempt to sound like actually what I'm doing. Brian, welcome to an episode of The Imperfect Dads. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So, Brian, you're in Go Banana Go, and since I did a call with Jim, we've listened to a lot of Go Banana Go. So I'm going to start out with some questions that are very, very, very specific to Go Banana Go songs.
Sure.
So I studied audio engineering, so whenever I listen to a mix, I am very, very, very nerdy. So here's the first question I have. At the end of the song Eggs, whenever Jim, I'm pretty sure, is kind of like free versing over it and saying like, I like them scrambled over easy. Did you guys in the blend put someone clucking like a chicken and going like, bark, 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 bark,
yes.
bark?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is Flula doing the thing at the end. And yes, that is actually my wife, Rachel. I think actually, am I wrong about that? She did a chicken. We have, what's the other? No, that is the one. Yeah. It is that one.
Okay.
Rachel, on a previous album, we have the song Opera Chicken.
Sure,
and,
of course.
Who doesn't know Opera Chicken? Breakout hit.
Yes.
Miley Cyrus level hit. And Rachel is a very, very talented comedian, improv, like actor, singer, that type of person. Can do any animal really well.
Okay.
A real D. Bradley Baker type. And so she did this Opera Chicken bit. We recorded it for the album. And when we wrote this Egg song at my little like mini studio here, I was like, Rachel, you got to come in and do the chicken bit. And we did a few passes on that of her as a chicken, and she just clucked over the end of it.
It's so good. It took me like 5 times listening to it, and where it was actually loud enough where I could hear, but I was like, I'm almost positive you guys added bok, 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 like a bunch of clucking at the very end of that song, and it is so dumb and so
over
perfect.
Over the Tom's Diner quote, right? Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Other thing I noticed, and I'm going to clean my room, which my kids love. Whenever you go over to Zoe singing, I'm going to clean my room as well. Did you add in very, very, very faintly in the mix the exact same intro piano part as the song starts? Like there's a piano underneath her singing that also behind the tour, right?
You know what? Actually, I don't know that one. So Jim mixed these.
Okay.
And I don't remember if that's the same one or not. I think it. Oh wait. I think I know what you're talking about. I believe it is. Yes. Okay. And it's got that like kind of like a high pass filter thing.
Yep. Yeah. It's very muffled, very clearly like.
Yes. That is the piano. Yes. I don't want to take credit for that.
No.
That was Jim's work. Yes.
Whenever I talked to Jim, I hadn't listened to like whenever your kids listen to a song like 20 times and then the 20th time you're like, wait, you actually pay attention. And then you're like, wait a second. What's going on in this mix? There's a chicken in this song. Wait a second. There was like the amount of sound effects you guys use in your music just makes me laugh and like creates the whole atmosphere of it that I'm just like, you guys literally have a creaking door and a light bulb sound in this song. That's fantastic.
We love sound effects. I mean, one of the things we really do try to do with Go Banana Go is we try to, Jim is a very talented producer and mixer and everything. And we try to like record the songs well. We try to mix them all. This album, we recorded at this place, Sonic Ranch. And, I don't know if you and Jim talked about this, but it's, like a world-class.
It's a real studio.
I mean, it's not, I think it's the largest residential, you live there if you want, recording studio in the world. Yeah. And it's like, we're on, not the one we use for this, but in one of the rooms, there's like this, Neve board that came from Motown, right? Yeah. It's like, oh my God, this is, the funny story about this one was we booked time just basically do like a writing and recording retreat. It's pretty low lift in terms of what we need to record the stuff. And so they have a mix room there where you can record, but it's doesn't have a live room or ISO booths or anything. And we booked that, and then we show up, and the room was not ready. They were like tearing it apart and rewiring or whatever.
Okay.
And they put us in the biggest studio on the facility. Like, I mean, you could fit you have 2 symphony orchestras in there. Huge live room. 80 channel board,
What?
And I mean, just like gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
And we get in there, and we have to ask, they give you an engineer who knows the room well.
Yes.
And we have to ask this poor person. It was like, hey, how can we set up a MIDI keyboard here? Because we have there's this beautiful grand piano and all this gear, and it's like the best instruments, there's guitar, anything you could want. And it's like, hey, I need to do
can I just plug this in
MIDI drums. Can we do that over here? Yeah. And it actually took a little while for them to find a keyboard that actually worked well just as a dumb MIDI controller. It was very funny to be in this room, and they knew what they're, it's not like we were upsetting anybody.
No, but it is hilarious.
Like a monster.
Yeah. It's probably felt hilarious to walk into a room where it's like, hey, where do you want the baffles whenever we record live? And you're like,
correct. Yeah.
We're just kind of going to talk nonsense for about an hour and then turn that into a song. Yep. And we probably shouldn't record all the nonsense talking because half of it's not going to be usable. So
yeah, we did finish the album. So they had us in 2 rooms. One was that room, and then they had a little right next to this gigantic live room, or this gigantic studio. There's a little tiny cabin. I mean, teeny, not even the size of a studio apartment, smaller than that, like the size of, I don't know, like a large bathroom, basically. Yeah. That's the Bon Iver cabin, because he loves to go record there. So we finished the last day or 2, I think, in the Bon Iver cabin.
That's awesome.
It was great. Yeah.
Did you only use SM57s?
Sorry,
that's too niche of a joke. I'm sorry, everyone.
So we did I think we used the 7Bs.
Okay.
That's our go, which I'm happily talking on right now.
Yes.
But that would be funny. Yeah. That's a good concept album. Is called 57, and it's just everything is just SM57.
Just SM57s. I'm sorry to every listener for how niche of a joke and a reference that is, because I don't
should we say it's like a standard but kind of shitty mic.
It is basically. I remember in audio classes, they're like, let's say you need to tighten something up or hammer something down. You can probably use an SM57 just to give it a good whack or 2, and it'll still work afterwards. Mm-hmm. So it's the utility microphone. It is the first mic I ever bought. Yeah, it makes sense. It's a great microphone. It works in almost every scenario. Great on snares, great on everything. But there's also a lot of better options. So
yes, there are. Yeah.
Whenever you guys normally record for Go Banana Go, your last album seemed like a much more that was a very serious thing. Like you had Flula in, you went and did the writing retreat and recording for it. Is that how your process normally is? Or is it usually more just silly and casual than that?
It definitely, this one was unusual. We were like, let's just, I actually love this thing where it's like, all right, we got a week, let's do an album. Yeah. We didn't even know if we're going to have an album. We had 5 days or whatever. It was like, we're probably going to get an EP. And if we're lucky, really. But typically in the past, Jim and I, because Flula, we've done things with Flula. We did an EP and we did a track with him, German lessons, on our first album. But typically Jim and I are just trading ideas, and then maybe I live in LA. He lives, as you know, in Nashville. And sometimes, if he's in LA, we'll do a thing here, or more typically these days I'll fly out to his place in Nashville. He has a home studio, and we'll just bang out a few things there. Because he's I'm not a producer. I don't know about engineering. He knows all that stuff really well. I'm hopeless. So if we come to LA, we'd have to find a studio and blah, blah, blah. If we go to Nashville, we can just do it at his place. It's trading tracks, and it's very, very loose. I'm always, I have one kid, Audrey, who's 11. Cool. She's pitching me song ideas constantly. That's fun. And if there's a really fun one, I'll just come lay it down, and sometimes get her to do vocals on it. She's on a lot of the recordings, including this album. And, then I'll send it over to Jim. It's like, hey, we came up with this today. So they kind of trickle in, over a year or whatever.
That's awesome. Did you, whenever you started doing music stuff, did you ever imagine that your daughter would want to participate in it and actually be on songs that you guys are writing?
The short answer, no.
Yeah.
You know, I always hoped like she'd
Yeah,
be
of course.
musical, but you know, I have a weird trajectory. I don't know how much you know about me.
I
but
Wikipedia'd you, so
okay,
yeah.
So you saw the basic. So
Yeah.
you know, I was a physicist. I was a physics professor for a
Yeah.
while, and then quit. Almost exactly 10 years ago. Quit my job and moved to LA to do music full time because my band Ninja Sex Party suddenly got popular, and it was like, oh, this seems like this might be a career. And here we are 10 years later, and it's worked out. It has been, and so when we moved to LA, Audrey was, I think, 14 months old, something like that, and Go Banana Go was not even like on the horizon. And I think when she was like three or four, I remember her asking me, Dad, when you die, can I be in your band? Like taking my place, because I dress up in a ninja costume, and we would put her in a little ninja costume sometimes. And I think she had this idea she'd take over the family business.
There you go.
And that very, you know, casual way kids like will just talk about your death sometimes, especially when they're real young. Like, if I killed you, would that be bad? And you're like, whoa, okay.
Well, how are you going to kill me? Let's discuss method here first.
Yeah, details matter in this case. My new line with Audrey when she's like, hey, you know, Dad, can I have $20? Now I always say, eventually. Yeah, you'll get it.
You'll get it.
Yeah. Or what if I gave it to you over the course of like, what if, Audrey, I gave you free food for like 18 plus years? Yeah. And also, what if I gave you a place to live? Like, you kind of get to stay for free. You don't even have to pay for it.
In LA, right?
In LA.
Oh,
it's
dude.
An expensive part of the world.
It's an expensive part of the world.
Yeah. Like, that's a deal. That's what I tell her all the time. Like, you're not going to get this deal anywhere else. And what the other thing I love to do to her is I'm like, look, Audrey, my boss doesn't want me to do this. Like, I can't give this deal to anybody. You know, he asked me not to do this, but
you're a car salesman.
because I like you, I'm going to let you live in my house and eat my food for free for like, realistically, 25 to 30 years.
Yeah, realistically, yep.
Yep.
So you go full dad joke then. And whenever she's like, hey, can I have $20 to go to the movie? You're like, you know, have you actually looked up rent in LA in our neighborhood? Because it is more than $20.
Yes, I'm very happy to go down this route. And I can only imagine as she gets to be more of a teenager that these jokes are going to flame out. Oh, yeah, straight downhill. Like right now, she's merely exasperated.
Yeah.
I think we're 6 months away from angry.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to ask you. So you went from being a physicist, having a PhD. Did you do a teaching job? Is that correct? Were you a professor?
I was a professor. Yeah. So I got my doctorate in 2004, and then I did postdoctoral research gigs, which are like these fixed term. I did teach at one, so I don't need to go the whole trajectory, but I was at MIT for a while, and I taught like an intro class at MIT, basically because I wanted to build up my teaching resume, but it was not required or actually even encouraged.
Yeah.
And so those were largely not teaching jobs, and I did those for 8 years. And then I got a faculty job, which was your typical like research university, half research, half teaching kind of thing. Yeah.
So whenever I read that on you, my first thought was, how did you tell your wife, hey, I'm going to quit all this, the stuff I've been working for a decade, to join the band called Ninja Sex Party? I can't imagine saying that to my wife, like, hey, you know, this whole career trajectory thing I've been working towards and all my degrees.
Dude.
How about I dress up like a ninja instead?
Yeah. Okay. So a couple things is one, I certainly didn't tell my wife that anything. I was like, hey, Rachel, what if?
Yeah.
Because so we met in 2004. I guess.
Okay.
So this October it'll be 18 years.
Nice.
We're married 18 years.
Yeah.
And when we didn't start dating right away, like met and then, you know, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I got married in 2007 and she told me after we'd been dating maybe about a year or something, and we met in Boston, then I moved to New Jersey, and she was like, oh, I think, actually, I guess this was later after we'd moved a couple times for my job, or I should say I had moved because we did a few things where she like stayed in place and I moved around and came, you know, spent weekends with her. And she was like, I think, you know, you told me you'd be moving around for work. I don't think I really understood what that means. Because for these research jobs, it's like you do it for a short period of time and you're very unlikely to get hired at that place. And then you're kind of moving somewhere. It really fucks with your life.
Yeah.
And this is all if you're I mean, there's no guarantee it's going anywhere either, right? I don't know if you're an academic at all or.
Okay. My brother my soon-to-be sister-in-law teaches at Columbia. My brother is in Manhattan. So I've in all the expanded families, I think there's 3 doctorates. If you technically count lawyers, then there's 5. So very. I'm the least educated because I only have an undergrad. So I'm the black sheep because I don't have a master's or a doctorate.
Right.
So,
got it. So you know what it's like you do these positions and you do them because they're interesting and fun, but you hope they lead somewhere, but the odds are against you from the jump. So I would always, I came very close to just being like, all right, I'm never going to get a faculty job. I should just find another thing to do. Because after I also was doing my postdocs during I graduated in 2004, which meant just when you typically get hired for a job, it was 2008.
Yeah.
And
not so good.
Everything died.
Not so good.
All the jobs. Yeah.
I think my brother-in-law is a doctorate in mostly doctorates in English is what all my family members are. So my sister-in-law is at Columbia. My brother-in-law on my wife's side is at UMBC. So University of Maryland, Baltimore. And my brother, I think is has to argue his dissertation, then he's a doctorate. So all of that faculty track where you're like, I want to do this. Cool. Do you want the job? Cool. You have to move here. How am I going to live here for? I don't know, until the gig runs out.
Oh, and if you're, if you get lucky enough to get even offered a job, which have always been in short supply, are now at right now in very short supply. And it's, everything is just always up in the air. And you hope, the running joke, at least among physicists, because we know a lot of math and that stuff, is if you're not lucky enough to get an academic job that pays $60,000 a year, you'll get hired by some investment bank and make, $300K or whatever. It's, you can easily go to the private sector, maybe less easily now, but at least when I was in it, the typical off ramp, if you're like, I don't want to do academic, the default thing to do would be go to a hedge fund or be a quant somewhere. I never had any interest in that stuff and really wanted to not be in that world. And I doubt I would have ended up doing that anyway. But anyway, so we were, we moved around a lot. And then when we moved to London, where I got my faculty job, I was like, okay, Rach, this is it. It's a permanent job. This is the one we've been waiting for. I'm not going to say we'll never move again, but it's 10 years down the road, minimum. Cut to 2 years later. And I'd been in Ninja Sex Party for a while. Dan, my partner in that, started the band in 2009. So I moved to London in 2012. Dan joins a very popular YouTube channel, Game Grumps, the next year. Suddenly, people are paying attention. We have a couple albums out at this point. People are paying attention to the band for the first time. We started being popular. And then Dan, and I told Dan from the beginning, I love doing this. And if it ever got to a point where we could really do it as a career, I would leave my academic job. And do this. It would take a lot. The bar is pretty high, especially once I had a baby, because then it's if I'm moving back to the States, I better have health insurance and some kind of income, which this band had never generated. I think maybe we made $100 one. We're just hemorrhaging money, investing it in videos and stuff. And
would you have also
deeply in the red?
Yeah. Would you have also been more in your late 30s, early 40s around then also?
Yeah. So that's right. So when I was born in 1975. So when Dan joined Game Grumps, I was 38.
Yeah. So, especially then it's hey, I'm kind of looking for stability and things I can predict a little bit. And that's right. Honestly, faculty job, 10-year track and all that is you predict what the next potentially 20 years of your life, you have a path ahead of you. And music is that's right. How's that going? It's well, people wanted to listen to us this year. What about next year? I don't know.
Who knows? And especially if, we're we're basically YouTube musicians. That's where it drives most of our traffic. And it's does the algorithm like us today?
Pretty much. Yep.
Which now it's does the TikTok or whatever, pick a platform.
Yep.
So yes, I left the most stable thing I could have, which is UK doesn't have tenure. This is a subtle point, but they do have permanent jobs. I had a permanent job, couldn't be fired.
Okay.
There's an asterisk, but whatever.
Within reason.
Sometimes they shut down departments and then fire everybody. So tenure in the US is a little more permanent, but not, they're basically the same thing.
Okay, cool.
So the great thing about the UK actually is there was no tenure process. I walked in the door, there was like a nominal probation thing. I was permanent right away.
Cool.
Whereas in the US it would be this 7-year like slog to hope that they like you enough to keep you. Anyway,
yeah.
So I have this actual permanent job in the UK. We're in London, great city.
Yep.
My wife has a corporate job, which she really likes. She's making much more money than I am. And between the two of us, we have a baby. It's like we can get by just fine in London. It's a very stable situation.
Yes.
I left that to dress up like a ninja in the music industry, which is maybe on paper, to me, this looked exactly as it was the year I turned 40. It was the year we moved to LA.
Yeah.
It looks like a midlife crisis.
A little.
I'm gonna quit. My ninja costume is my red Ferrari.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna quit my permanent, super safe job I worked for 20 years to get, depending on how you count. Like, I'm doing very well at it. It's not like I hate it. It's a great job. I'm doing cool. I'm a string theorist. I'm doing quantum field theory. I'm lecturing all over the world. It's great. But I'm going to quit that. I'm going to say, okay, bye physics, and hope, again, the band had not made a ascent at this point, hope that the band makes some money. Now, I will say it was a lot less insane than it sounds, because the YouTube channel Dan was on hired me.
Oh, okay.
Salary,
gotcha.
Insurance. They basically needed someone to run their social media.
Okay.
And I was like, I'd been doing all social media for the band. And I was like, you know what? This is a good stepping stone at the very least to doing it. So I got a job.
Okay.
And with Dan, blah, blah, blah. Like it was the kind of the perfect stepping stone. I ended up doing that for, I don't know, 3 or something years. But it provided like enough cushion to say, okay, is this going to work? And also the universities put a lot of effort and time and money into hiring people that to keep you. So they gave me a year's leave. So they said, okay, you can just go if you want. But also, I mean, I asked them for this. It's like, you can come back, no harm, no foul after a year. Now it meant moving back from California to London, but whatever. The job was still there. The only thing they said is, but the moment please let us know. So we're not like, we will hire someone else. They have a grant. They want to, they have good reasons for wanting to know. So I said, I think that's totally fair. Yeah. So I basically had a year to like
try it out,
feel it out.
Yeah.
And shockingly, so I moved to LA July 1st, 2015. We had Ninja Sex Party had our third album out. I think it was on the 17th of July, and it did really well. The only thing we'd ever done, the first album we had out since Dan joined Game Grumps. And it was like, oh, okay, I think this is going to work.
Yeah.
I'm quitting. And then I waited a month and then,
of course,
just to make sure. And then I quit the job. I think it was like late August, early September of that year, because I was like, regardless, like it seemed like a non-insane risk. And now it seems like a less insane risk.
Because like whenever I graduated from Belmont in like 2010, I didn't really work any recording studio jobs. I got like a job at the local TV stations, because it was like, hey, how do you does this job does being a assistant recording engineer, what's it pay? Not a lot. Does it have health insurance? No. Does it have dental insurance? No. Okay. Are you on your own? Yes. Okay. So that path doesn't work out too well. So like, those are all just basic things that I wish a job wasn't how, they were provided. But
absolutely.
But like, so if you're switching from that to like, hey, you've already got guaranteed salary, guaranteed this, guaranteed that. It's like,
might I add, in the UK, health stuff is covered. Yeah. Right. So you don't need to have a job to get basic health. Or dental is a little bit different.
Okay.
Actually, here's something cool. In the UK, I believe kids get, someone should fact check me on this.
Yeah.
Kids get free dental care until 18.
Okay.
And if you're pregnant, you get free dental care while you're pregnant, and then I think up to a year after.
Oh, nice.
So like the social services were awesome. My wife could take a year's maternity leave off work. Now, not all of it was like paid. It was it was then like 6 months fully paid, 3 months some fraction
80%,
paid, and in 3
90%,
months you won't get paid, but you can take it with no penalty.
I think Australia is the same way because like my wife works with like a company that brokers beverage deals, which is very, very, very niche. And she's been working with like a company based out of Australia. And like a year ago, someone's like, hey, I'm about to go on leave because I'm having a baby. And she's like, oh, cool. So I'll see you in like 8 weeks or something. She's like, no, I'm out for a full year. And she was like, no, we had babies in the wrong country. I
know, dude. Well, that was, when we were moving back, this is one thing I was like, well, you hear about how systems work in other countries. You don't want to know till you live it. And I was like, at least, and it's not a perfect system over there, far from it, but it was for us like great. Yeah. And I was like, and at that time we were talking like, hey, maybe we'll have another kid. Didn't end up happening. Yeah. But I was like, shit, if we have a kid in the US, it's going to be expensive. In the UK, we opted to pay £90 for a private room one night, and that was the only cost. Otherwise, it was just covered and like flawless.
You had no deductible to hit. You didn't have anything like that. Man.
Yeah. And that include like, epidural, emergency C-section, like stuff happened.
Yeah. It's a birth. It's not pretty.
It's a birth. Nope. And it did not go according to plan or expectations. So, but you don't get a bill at the end of the day.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was definitely moving back. I was like, I wonder if we do have a kid in the US.
Yeah.
What are these two experiences going to be like in terms of experience
financial
and cost and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Nope. And then like one of my kids, I have 3 kids. So I have a 9 and 7-year-old daughters and a almost 4-year-old son. And our middle child had seizures after a week of being born.
Oh my God.
So it's this thing. It's called like fifth day fits. You have seizures for like 24 hours. You get on some meds.
Like a known thing.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yep. It's hereditary on my side of the family. It happens. I had them whenever I was a baby. But more that to say, whenever you're in the emergency room with your 6-day-old, in the back of your head is like, shit, how much is this going to cost? Like we're going to go ahead and pay for, like, we're paying for labor and delivery. Now I'm paying for an emergency room visit. Yep. And also we're watching our 6-day-old have a seizure. So like,
this is the scariest thing you can.
It's the worst day ever. So like the thought of not having the whole mental space of like, hey, how much is this going to cost me later? It's like, you don't think about that in the moment, but then like when things die down, you're like, oh, I'm sure this hospital offers payment plans and we'll figure that out whenever we get there. And we did, but it's,
it's not
ideal. Yeah.
Yep. Like, it was definitely, living through it, it felt like a much more humane system.
Yeah. So, I also do love the whole discussion of birth plans because that's very big. Is, people are like, well, whenever you have your perfect birth, and it completely ignores how how volatile a birth can be. Because
you have no idea
what's going to happen.
Especially if it's your first. I mean, no matter what it is.
No matter what.
But especially if it's your first, and this is our first and only.
Yeah.
It's like you can read about it all you want, but when it's go time, like it's all out the window.
Yeah.
And we, like, Rachel really wanted to do like a kind of a midwife thing, not a home birth, but they had a nice midwife center there, and she wanted to do it. And it ended up for medical reasons she couldn't do it there, so we had to switch it around. But it's like you go in with these one set of expectations, and then your body and life gets in the way, and things happen, and so it might be exactly as you expect, it might be completely different. And it turned out it was good she couldn't do the midwife thing because she needed an emergency C-section.
Yes.
And if she'd been at the midwife thing, it wasn't the hospital. She would have had to, take the ambulance. Like it would have ended up being a whole thing.
Yeah.
Not that we knew that at the time, but it ended up being for the best that we couldn't do the midwife option anyway.
Yeah. I think whenever my wife was in labor for our first kid was also like, just from like the male or dad perspective, was the first time a doctor ever looked at me and asked me what my wife wanted medically for them. And I just remember sitting there being like, I have no idea. Like, well, does she want an epidural? And I'm like, well, we said no originally, but you're the one who does this every day, not me. So can you tell me like pros and cons of, don't make me make this decision for her. I don't want to.
I don't know if they do this here.
Yeah.
So again, emergency C-section, and they were like, okay, we're going to give you an epidural.
Yeah.
Here are the numbers. And they're like, 1 out of 100,000 people suffer spinal paralysis. 1 out of 500. They had to clearly legally read these numbers which, I mean, thank God I'm a mathematician.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, a 1 out of 100,000, fine.
That's not much. That's, yeah.
It's nothing. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to know if we're talking like 1 out of 100, then it starts to get a little more real.
Yeah.
But like these very low probability events, and Rachel actually needed to have 2 epidurals, and they had to read the same thing twice. Yes. And she's giving birth.
Yes.
She is in labor.
Yeah.
She is, all anyone wants is to have a healthy, happy baby.
Yep.
And to have mom and kid be like
alive.
The last thing you want to hear is statistics.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to know, what do you think we should do, doctor? We trust you.
Yeah.
Do you think we should do this? And also, it's an like, so many people get epidurals.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal in one sense. You're sticking a thing into your spine.
Yeah.
But, the odds of something going wrong are pretty low.
Yes.
All you want to know is, should I do this? Okay, great. But the level I was like, could not be more about informed consent. Oh my God, too much information. Or we should have known this ahead of time, so we could have like signed off on it. Now, maybe because it was an emergency thing. Who the hell knows? But yeah, hearing numbers, in hour 20 or whatever it was of labor was like, oh my God, dude, can we like, and it was all fine. Like, it was everything. She was fine. Audrey was fine.
Yeah.
All good.
That's my sarcastic favorite thing about birth is like, our first daughter was a 26-hour labor, 10 days early. The birthing process started with my wife's water breaking. So nothing went the way we thought it would.
Yeah.
And then like 10 years later or 9 years later, I'm like, everything's fine. But like that 26 hours was the like most intense, like, oh my God, what happened? Like, is my daughter going to live? Is my wife going to live? And then at the end, someone hands you a baby and says, here you go. And you're like, I don't know what to do with this. Well, I've never.
Well, and dude, because we were in London, we got in a cab.
Oh, did you really?
We don't have a car. We're in the middle of London. It's like
that makes
living
sense.
in
That
New
makes
York.
sense.
So
yeah. Yep.
We essentially call an Uber. They had like Uber for cabs. It was a service where you can call it one of the London black cabs. And we just, we walk out with a baby in a car seat and we get into a cab. Also, I've never put a car seat in a car before, right? Yeah. And now it's not even my car in a parking lot. It's like this cab where the cabbie is clearly not happy to have a literal newborn, less than 24 hours old baby in his car, a woman who's recovering from surgery, her mom, and me in the cab. This guy is like, what did I, he's praying it's just some drunk British guy. And no, it's a whole family coming home from the hospital with a newborn. Oh my God, that guy was not. He was, we got us home safe. But I could tell from the moment that door opened and he saw.
He was like, gosh.
He was like, yeah.
That's okay. So I've never actually thought of that before, because most dads have like the story of the first time they drive home with the baby from the hospital and the whole experience and everything. If you're in a bigger city like New York or London, it is a cab, and that's such like a personal moment of the
cab
first.
The subway. I have friends who went home on the subway with their baby. Like it happens.
I've never. I mean, that makes total sense, but I've never thought of that because it's such like ingrained in me. Like I drove all 3 of my kids home and my wife and all of that. So the thought of being like, okay, cool. Here's a stranger who you'll never meet again and never see again for what to me is like a very like pivotal moment. If you get to bring your kid home, you walk through the door for the first time with them, and there's a stranger being like, so are you tipping in cash or are you going to Venmo me?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And also like, I wasn't taking a lot of, I don't have any money. I'm a fucking academic in London. I'm taking the tube everywhere, so I'm always, maybe once every 3 months at the absolute tops, am I calling a cab and taking it somewhere. So part of me also, is like, man, I guess we got to spend the money on this, but it's like, it's 20 pounds.
It's fine. It's nothing.
It was nothing. But yeah, there's also that thing. Like, I'm not even used to getting in this thing. And I don't know. I'm sure if we lived there long enough, this would have gone away. Still, like, oh my God, we're on the wrong side of the street. This is so dangerous. Like, still not over it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure in your head, you're like, if this guy kills me, my wife, and my daughter, I'm going to be so pissed. I'm going to hunt the hell out of this guy.
I'm really going to let him have it. Yeah.
Your last words will just be like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, but we got home.
Yeah.
Everything was fine.
It's all good.
Another amazing UK thing. Okay. So we got home. My wife, like Audrey's having trouble latching.
Sure.
Couldn't get her to breastfeed. Not that uncommon. Lactation consultant there like day after she was born to come help Rachel learn how to breastfeed. Right there, home visit.
That's awesome.
Like free of charge.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Nashville had, I think it was Centennial, or it was Midtown Hospital. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head right now. They had lactation consultants. You had to drive to it to be a part of it, but Nashville had a lot of services where if you showed up, here were the hours in which they teach it. Because like whenever someone asks like what's something you didn't anticipate whenever you became a dad, breastfeeding is always like number one on my list of like how much of a journey it is, how you have to like redefine your role of like, how am I helpful in this scenario where you can't, the only way you can help is by giving affirming like facial reactions and providing snacks.
That's right.
And besides that, you can make everything worse.
And Rachel was like, you know what? You don't need to Audrey never was good at taking a bottle.
Okay.
And Rachel was just like, you know what? You just sleep. Like I'm off work. I did take paternity leave. Mostly given the timing of the academic year, I didn't need to, but I feel like they offer it, you should take it.
Yeah, why not?
I think more dads should take paternity leave.
Yep.
It's offered. Why not? So I was like, I'm taking paternity leave, but I think I was finishing up lectures or something at the time. Obviously, right after Audrey was born, I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
But I did like grade finals.
Yeah.
And like a month later, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be sitting at home. I can grade these exams. It's not a big deal. But yeah, so I took the paternity leave, and Rachel, because I had at that point more stuff to do, she was like, you don't even get up in the middle of the night. I'm not going to pump. Like, I'll just get up and feed her. And that was, I'm extremely grateful to her for doing that. I happily would have gotten up and bottle fed, whatever I need to do, it's all on the table. But Rachel was like, no, just you sleep.
I feel like I'd be like, I can only do so much here. But if I need to change a diaper, if some reason they need to have their clothes changed or anything like that, wake me up. But like, I just, it's like looking at your wife and being like, just know I want to be helpful. And there's lots of ways for me to feel unhelpful. So just
That's right.
I'm not trying to put this on you to tell me what to do to help. But at the same time, I'm pretty limited in what's actually helpful that I do.
That's
this kid also likes you more than me.
No, absolutely. You let me know that was exactly my attitude. It's like, let me know what you need and I will do it. No questions asked, but when it actually comes to breastfeeding, I'm not going to be doing
not much.
I
feel like it led to a lot of moments where we'd be like, hey, this is what I want to do because I'm assuming it's helpful. Well, does this help? Like,
exactly.
Because I don't want to make you I don't want you to tell me what helpful is. I want because that puts weird weight on them.
Yeah, for sure.
But also like, I want to be an active partner. And I'm kind of limited in my opportunities to be an active partner. So what can I do? So lots of sentences like that. Of like, if I leave you snacks at the bedside table, is that helpful or is that annoying? Because you have to push them out of the way. Just tell me.
One of the main things I would do with Audrey, again, we lived in a flat, London, don't have a car.
Yeah.
I would just like take her on a city bus. Like, and we had cobblestone streets. So anytime she was fussy, put her in the stroller, get on a bus. The bus is like bumping up and down the streets and just falls right asleep. It was awesome because we didn't, can't drive her around. I know that's like the standard thing for people who have cars. It's like drive the baby around, falls asleep. I would just go, we had a bus that picked up right outside our flat.
Cool.
I just get on, go like put on a podcast, go an hour one direction, get off, get back on. And I'm looking at London. It's still London.
Yeah. That's cool.
Get on the same bus, go in the opposite direction, drop off right in front of the flat. It was great. That was my one of my main roles was get this baby out of the fucking house for like a couple hours. So great. Happy to do it. Let's do it.
Yep. My two older kids were born in January and February. So they're both winter babies. So the opportunities to take them out on walks whenever they were newborn were like non-existent. So it was like me with a stroller trying to figure out where the furthest part from the house is from where my wife can hear us and just walking in a tiny square. Just being like, please fall asleep. I don't want it's also like 20 degrees outside. I'm not putting you in a car. You're like a month old. I'm not doing this. So
whereas Audrey was May. So we had like summer and I mean, it's still the UK. So it's like raining and stuff. But, yes, it was definitely not too cold to go outside with a baby.
Yes. As far as like your day job and everything, are you mostly like full-time musician, touring musician and all that world and all that life?
Yeah. So like many musicians, I have a bunch of acts.
Yeah.
Ninja Sex Party, Go Banana Go.
Yep.
I have another comedy band, a hip hop band called Starbomb, which does like video game music. I have a smooth jazz solo project under the name Trey Magnifique. That's like the thing I'm most excited about right now.
Yeah.
The podcast, which I do with my friend Leighton Gray. It's called Leighton Night with Brian Wecht. So it's like between whatever, there's 5 bands and a podcast. And then, touring. I'll tour. We just got off a big tour for this year, which ended up being, it was like a month on, month off, month on. And then I have a few mini tours coming up later in the year. One with my smooth jazz act.
Yeah.
One I'm playing with my friend JP Hassan, who has this amazing project called Hasco Enjoyments, and we're opening for this a pretty well known band, Pinback.
Yeah,
great band, and he knows those guys very well. And we're going to open for them on a West Coast tour in the fall as well. So it's like I've got a couple other travel things. Occasionally, I'm pretty active. Well, I'd say I'm pretty active, but I really just do this one thing. There's this great science podcast called The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe.
Okay.
Which is, I think, an amazing podcast. And I've been working with those guys. We organize cons and,
cool.
So I did a con with them earlier this year. So I'm traveling a bit for work, but it's like, the main thing is really Ninja Sex Party.
Yeah.
And then it's like trying to piece together income from whatever other acts I can. The main thing, I'm very, very lucky in that even if it was just Ninja Sex Party, that's like enough to live off of. And then I can, with the other projects, just be like, okay, what's really fun? Especially Go Banana. Go Banana is literally just like, let's just do some fun stuff. We think of ourselves as a comedy band for kids.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what's really funny and silly here? Let's just do it. And we're not going to overthink it. We want to make it good, but we're not spending weeks rewriting. And it's just like, hey, let's do this thing. Sometimes we'll write a song in an hour and then it's just done.
Yeah.
That rarely happens with Ninja Sex Party, for example.
Well, I feel like Go Banana Go, most of your songs are around like the 2-minute mark, which feels like you got the joke, you got the idea, you execute the joke, then you get out before it goes on too long.
Well, that's also true. Ninja Sex Party is maybe a little longer, but comedy songs in general, like a long comedy song is just like, it can be pretty brutal.
Yeah.
There's some people that do it really well. Wolves of Glendale, if you know them,
yes.
really great comedy. They just opened for us on our tour.
Oh, cool.
At the LA show. But their songs are like these. The whole point of the song is it's this weird journey that takes these left turns. Great band. So they can pull off like a long song. There's some Tenacious D songs that are really long. Certainly some Weird Al songs, but generally speaking, with comedy, it's like short and sweet is what you want.
Yeah. As far as like touring goes, is your daughter at the age where like she wants to take phone calls from you whenever you're on tour, or is she kind of living her own life in her own world?
No, she's 11. And she's a young 11, so she is still very parent attached and very excited to like talk to me when I'm on tour. We also, when we can do it, like if we're playing in LA or if she and Rachel can be there, she'll come to a show and be at the sound check and like get on stage and stuff. So I let her come on stage and she can hit the drums and play some notes on my keyboard. And I think it's kind of mind blowing. And, our tour manager gets her like, she loves Sprite. We're going to get a Sprite for Audrey, like really try to blow her mind. Yeah. But when I'm on tour, it's still the hardest thing is being away from her, feeling like, especially she's at this age now where it's like, she's almost a teenager. I can see she's going to get less attached to us as she gets older. It just happens. And that's what I feel like right now. I can tell it's going to be devastating, even though it just happens when your kid becomes really their own person. And it is, it's beginning to happen already at 11, but we're a couple years away from like, I've just got my own thing going on and I don't want to see my parents. And if with every kid, it's different. Some kids are still, I was very attached to my parents as a teenager. Some kids are, some kids aren't, but that to me is the hardest thing about touring is feeling like I'm missing out on really precious time with Audrey. And she's still young enough where that time feels very, very special. And I'm trying to be cognizant of this isn't going to last forever. And every single parent you talk to who has been through this is like, really treasure this little kid time, because you've got, if maybe you got 12 years of it, and then it's a different thing.
Yeah.
And we're right at the end of that right now.
Yep. My my oldest daughter is 9. She's going to go into 4th grade. And like, I can already feel that like whenever middle school starts, which is still, like 2 years away, I'm like, oh, that's whenever I expect like this relationship to change, for this all to be like, my role is different here. That's whenever I think
not better or worse.
No, just different.
Yep.
And where I'm going to expect like me to try to make a joke or make light of something and it to be offensive to her, like all of those little changes where I'm trying to keep things like casual or whatever. And it's really big to her, but I don't realize how big it is.
Yes.
I expect that in 2 years from now to be my reality of just watching everything I say to be like, is this a moment to, when do I take it serious? But now it's too serious. Like, I've never had a teenage daughter before. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yep. Nope. I forget which comedian it is. Might be Mark Maron, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
Who I don't think it is, because he's not a parent. But some comedian was saying, like, whenever, as a parent, whenever you say a thing to your kid, you always wonder, is this the thing that they're going to be talking to their therapist about in 20 years? And to you, it's some it's not even a big deal. It's some little comment. It's not even a negative thing that you said a thing.
Yeah.
And we all have these things that, a parent or loved one or whatever says to us, just a little thing. And it just, for whatever reason, just got in there and has lodged in your brain. And you think about it in the background all the time.
Yeah.
And I try to, you don't want to overthink it, but with parenting a lot, I always think when I'm talking to her, especially if you're like correcting a behavior or, doing a lecture, as much, I try not to lecture, but
it happens. It happens.
Sometimes you got to do it. And I always think, is this the thing? Is this, is she going to stay? Was I like too snarky right now? Did I say something weird? Like it's, try to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's always one of my favorite things to like figure out, like whenever you get into like your 20s or 30s, of things that you thought were like normal, but they aren't that normal. Like as a humorous example, I went to Lutheran school for K through 8th grade. So did all my siblings and stuff. And I remember being like, hey, I was raised Lutheran. My parents were like, we didn't raise you Lutheran. You just went to Lutheran school. And I was like, oh, that's different. They're like, yeah, we weren't practicing Lutherans. It was just like, we didn't feel comfortable with the public school options. Awesome. And like, we had friends who went to the school. So we sent you here. And I was like, oh, I thought that dogma I was taught I was supposed to believe in, or I'd die and go and burn in hell for the rest of eternity. And they're like, yeah, no, we don't believe that. And I'm like, oh, well, they're like, we believe in God. We believe in Christianity. We believe in all this stuff, but like, not like that. And I was just like, huh, shit.
That's awesome.
I would have.
And you never talked about, even in like 8th grade? Like,
no, I mean, we did like confirmation. We did all that stuff. And like, I know my mom didn't like going to church, but I figured she didn't like going to church. But like, yeah, one of those things, like, because once we got out of 8th grade, like, we didn't go like in high school. Like, I did church stuff in high school and all that. But like, I feel like everyone has that of like, yeah, we were this type of family. And your parents were like, I didn't think we weren't that type of family. What are you talking about? Did you have any moments like that?
Where, like something that was totally normal. Oh, well, I remember. Yes, actually, I'll tell you one.
Yeah.
So my dad was Jewish. My mom was Christian.
Okay.
And for most of my young childhood, maybe even up until, I don't know, 7th grade, something like that, I was like, well, that's the world. It's half Christian, half Jewish.
Sure.
Half the world is Jewish. And then when you hear it's like, wait, it's what fraction of a percent? Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's that few people. It's crazy.
Yes.
Like that was really, and also where I grew up, North Jersey, New Jersey, New York, huge Jewish population.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everyone I went to school, like it feels almost half Jewish. And I didn't, at least in my part of New Jersey, I don't think I knew any Muslim kids growing up. We had a big Indian population. Mm-hmm. So there were definitely Hindu kids I grew up with, but, most of the people I knew were either Jewish or Christian, and anomalously large percentage of Jewish people. And that was, I remember that being a real eye opener, because it's like, you start learning about the history of how Jews were treated over the years. And you're like, oh, wow. Okay. There's stuff going on here that I was not previously aware of. Yep. So that one I remember, you just assume your family is like everyone the rest of the world.
Yeah. I grew up in the Midwest, so I'm like, oh yeah, most people have German and Catholic drunks in their family. That's pretty much what I'm assuming. That's not for every family, huh?
Right. Well, and also, I grew up right outside New York City. It's like, well, this is pretty I'm exposed
normal
to all that, going to the Museum of Natural History, Broadway shows, all this, like, who isn't growing up with this kind of, this culture stuff is just like right there to avail yourself of as you need it. My parents they take us to see Broadway shows all the time. I'm a huge Broadway fan to this day. Like, it's, the stuff was just there and available. We were like maybe 45 minutes, an hour outside of Manhattan.
Yeah.
Easy. You take in high school, I would take the bus into the city for the day, and then, on a weekend, come back out. It was just right there. And then when you look at a map of the country and you're like, oh,
yeah,
I think maybe I'm the weird one.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. My other favorite is lighting fireworks. Both my parents smoked whenever I was growing up. So instead of handing me a lighter to light the fireworks, they'd hand me their lit cigarette, so I wouldn't burn my hand on the lighter.
Amazing.
And I remember finding out that was not part of most people's childhood whenever I got to college. And I was like, did you guys just not set off fireworks? Like, what was the other option here? And they're like, just use a lighter and matches. And I'm like, oh, yeah, guess that makes sense.
Well, another thing for me is, I not grew up as a word, but when I was a teenager, late teenager, I was driving in New York.
Yeah.
Because I'm driving New York.
Yeah.
And then later you learn that driving in New York, one of the most stressful environments in the world, is kind of a good skill to have. And most people didn't grow up doing it at 18.
Not so much.
I believe it was in Jersey. I don't know if this has changed. I don't think so.
Yeah.
You get your license at 17, but in New York, you had to be 18 to drive in the city of New York.
Yeah.
And so I'm in high school, late high school. I'm driving in New York. It's no big deal. It's terrifying, but you just kind of get used to it because I grew up driving into the city with my parents, watching them do all this crazy shit. And now I can drive pretty much anywhere. And it's just like, oh yeah, I went through this. Meanwhile, I have my wife is a Minnesotan.
Oh, okay.
I have relatives who are scared of driving in Minneapolis because it's the big city. And I'm like, guys, there's street parking. Like, you can park, there's meters you can park at right there. Yeah. It's actually pretty easy.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, no, I couldn't possibly handle
can't
that.
even do
and
it.
to me, that feels like child's play.
Oh, yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah. Well, there's meters on there and double parked. That's weird. What's happening here?
That's right. Yeah, it's not, a one-way street that you actually, at some point, there's two trucks that you can't pass. You're just like completely hosed.
Yep.
Well,
yeah. Before we moved out here, we spent a month in my hometown. And traffic in Nashville is pretty bad or pretty big also. And there, since it's southern Indiana, it was like, it would be like after 3 or between like 3 and 5, and we'd have to drive somewhere. And I'd be like, oh, how's traffic going to be? And my parents were like, yeah, no, it's not a thing. Whereas like in Nashville, if it was like after 2, between like 2 and 6, I expected to be like standstill traffic, deal with stuff, but then go to the Midwest and it's just like, yeah, you're fine. Unless like you're in Chicago or like some bigger city,
you're totally
you're fine. You're just gonna, you'll be good.
It was also for me an education marrying into a Midwestern family.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, oh, nobody says what they want literally ever. You're playing this insane guessing game all the time and you get it wrong all the time. And then they're mad at you for 3 years.
Yep.
And they won't say they're mad at you. They actually, the difference is like, it's like they're treating you slightly different. You're like, did she serve me last at dinner? I think she didn't do that before. Right. And so you're picking up on all these subtle cues and where, and this wasn't, my family was not like the brusque, Jersey type family, but I'm sure we were more, more forthright than Midwesterners. But at some point you're like, well, I drive my mother-in-law nuts by sometimes I'll just be like, can you please just tell me what you want? I'm happy to give it to you. What would you like me to do? And it she doesn't like it.
Yep.
It is against her core value system to just ask for what she wants.
Yep.
Whereas to me, it is a cultural thing. Have you ever heard it's like high involvement, high consideration type? There's kind of two styles of speaking.
Okay.
One is this very typically to me, the ultimate example of this is the New York Jewish family. Mm-hmm. Everyone's interrupting all the time. You're talking over each other. And that is how you show attention and respect by oh, I'm paying attention. I really want to get on this.
Yeah.
To some people that registers as rude.
Sure.
There's another style of speaking where you wait for the person to finish. You pause.
Yeah.
You think about what they said and then you reply.
Yeah.
To me, that drives me insane. I'm like, please, let's
just say
move this
conversation. Let's do this. Yeah. Yep.
And it's the kind of thing where if you're used to a high involvement type of conversation, which I am, that can register as rude to people who aren't, and vice versa.
Yeah.
People who take their time. Please don't interrupt me. I'm not done speaking. It's just like, oh my God, dude. Like,
yeah. Since you, for your podcast, do you have guests on that often?
Yeah. Frequently. Yeah.
Okay. That's one thing I have to, because I also talk really quickly. I can talk really, I can as much as I want. I come from a very talkative, very loud family. So I'm used to talking loudly and just a conversation going in 5 million places. There are some guests, whenever I ask them a question and I have to recalibrate how quickly I talk, because I'm realizing I'm going to be pushing the tempo the entire time and they won't want to walk at this tempo. That's right. At some point in time, this is actually very rude of me to acknowledge their speaking and communication style, and me just sitting there and be like, I don't want to do that. Just do what I want. Do what I'm doing. Have you ever run into that where someone's like kind of slower and you're just kind of like,
absolutely.
I could have said 20 things.
Yeah, I have to. Luckily, my co-host Leighton is also pretty. She's very fast and smart and everything, and we can kind of interrupt each other all the time. But when you get that guest, it's like, okay, let's if I find myself monologuing, or if I notice Leighton is talking a lot, I have to make it a point to say, hey, guest, what do you think about this? So I do make it a point to like throw to people and pause.
Yes.
To make sure that, if you have someone on your show, you want to give them a chance to talk.
They should be talking.
They should be talking. Yeah. So I have absolutely noticed that. And occasionally, it's just like people, sometimes the vibe isn't there and it's just not a great fit and the conversation's kind of weird.
Yep.
That happens.
Yep. I always have like a mental pie chart in my head of like, okay, am I like, how much of this pie am I eating right now? Am I eating like 60% of it? Okay, I'm good. But like, it's whenever in person, if I'm with someone who talks slowly, I kind of do that just to mess with them and watch their reactions. Like I worked with a guy who I'd ask him a question and he would take such a long pause in between words that I would fill in the gaps whenever he would start talking. And then that would confuse him even more, which in person, whenever you're a coworker with someone, it can be a little rude, but it's like humorous and stuff. But on a podcast, like in this scenario, like if I started filling in your gaps, you're like, this guy's a dick. Like, what's he doing?
I'm fine. Yeah. Like, this is why, it's so interesting to like go to the South.
Yes.
And just have people.
The drawl.
It's the drawl and the pace,
syllables.
And it's not everybody. I remember once being in Durham, North Carolina, which is not even the deep South, but it's the South. And being in a supermarket and being like, what? There was 2 people in line in front of me and it took half an hour. And I was like, what the fuck? Everyone's just taking their thing and moving it. And it's just, I was like, how do people live at this pace? It's maddening. But, well, it's, just different
it is. And whenever I'm in that mode of, I'm like, I really want this to be more efficient. I'm just like, your efficiency monster is just rampaging right now. Like internally, just like, especially with being home with 3 kids during the summer. And like, it's like, okay, cool. Let's leave the house by 10. And I'm like, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock. Like what I have to like in my head, I'm like, all right, how do I battle the efficiency monster today? All right. You want to leave the house by 10 at 9 a.m. Start telling kids, let's get ready to leave. Cause if you start at 9:30, you're going to be pissed and you don't want to be mad at your kids.
This, let me know, because it's still like, all right, I try to give ample warning. Okay. You have half an hour.
Yep.
All right. 15 minutes. Are you ready? No. Yep. Okay. We're walking out the door at 10 o'clock. Are you ready? I need you to be ready because we can't be late for this.
We can't be late today.
I'm ready. Yep. And then it's like, okay, we're walking out the door. I don't have my shoes on. It's like, oh my God. And it's you don't want to micromanage.
No, you
don't.
do
Want to micromanage.
Mm-hmm. It's buffer. I think it's creating the buffer of like, okay, cool. We need to leave by 10 at 9 a.m. I'm going to start giving them warnings. At 9:40, I'm going to start putting shoes physically on kids if they don't have them on yet.
That's right.
And I love how much of parenting and honestly getting older is here's your expectation and just lowering it, just being realistic and saying my standards might be too high so that a 3-year-old will put his shoes on.
It doesn't matter. We're going to be 5 minutes.
It doesn't matter.
Not a big deal. Like, it really doesn't matter. I was having lunch with an older friend the other day, and she had her drink like near the edge of the table, and I almost reached for it to move it back.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, dude, no, that's an adult.
Don't do it. It's an adult.
Like I can't do it." But I think of the pie chart of how much of my parenting life involves moving drinks away from the edge of a table.
Yep.
And it's just like not that far, but like, the drink's right there on the edge. Kids like waving their arms. Yeah,
Yep.
it's going to move that back.
I can't wait until my kids get a little bit older, because right now I can only really take the 2 older ones to an art museum, and even the 7-year-old still wants to climb on everything, and that isn't the right energy for an art museum. I love how much of parenting is like trying to put yourself into situations where you feel like you won't get mad about something. So
yes,
you're like, okay, my 7-year-old,
I feel like honestly, just life these days. It's like, I'm going to try to do something where I'm not going to make myself furious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then call it a boundary. That's what I call is like
self-care.
Self-care. Yeah. Why did you not take your kids to this museum? Well, I knew the entire time I'd be yelling at my almost 4-year-old and my 7-year-old to stop doing whatever they were doing, and they're just being kids. So that's not good for anyone. Why am I doing this?
100%. That's right. Good old park.
Everyone's going to be happier. Everyone's going to be happier. You're going to be good. But the second you try to do like a grown-up thing with them, they're less than 10, man. Like, what do you think is going to happen here?
Yes. I've taken Audrey to like symphonies for youth here a bunch, and with varying degrees of success. LA Phil does some really nice ones. And like, but sometimes it's like, all right, this was not the day for this. Well, what are you going to do? Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it does. Yeah. My oldest is very like reads a lot of books, not a very active kid, would much rather like very cerebral, I guess is the best way to put it. And it's like, I took her to a couple like Nashville SC games whenever in town. And like, she would sit there and like analyze every play. And I'm like, awesome. This I know, like, that's great. Yeah. Whereas like, oh man, the 7 and the 3-year-old were just like jumping the seat, seeing if they could turn into a trampoline. My wife is like grabbing them and being like, I guess they're going to get ice cream. Like, we have to do something.
We do Dodgers games. We'll do 2 or 3 Dodgers games a year here. And it's especially, after winning the World Series, it's like, it's a really fun time to be like in Dodger Stadium with, I am not a sports guy basically at all. I don't know anything about it, but watching, Ohtani play is great. Yeah,
that's cool. Anyway, Brian, how we end every episode is we ask every guest a series of 5 questions. They aren't rapid fire, so you have a chance to think about them. So the first question is, did you have any backup names for your daughter? Like, did you have any names that you almost named her?
Short list. Jane was on the short list for sure. We had the names. Name. If we were gonna have a boy, that was an obvious name because Rachel and I have the same dad.
Okay.
Same dad named James. It was like, if it's a boy, this will be James. Both our fathers are dead, and it's like this is, at least in Jewish tradition, you only name babies after dead relatives. Mm-hmm. And so it was going to be James. And then Jane was pretty close to that, but Audrey, we were literally just like scanning through most popular baby names of the pick a decade, 20s, 30s. And just you do that thing where you scroll down and you're like, no. Audrey.
Oh.
And the thing everybody says is Hepburn or the plant.
Oh, gosh.
And the answer is neither. I mean, plant. If I had to pick one, plant. But again, Broadway guy. But still, Jane was like the closest to a backup. And I think Rachel liked Olive as well. But I don't think that was in serious consideration. Basically, once we found Audrey, it was like, yep, that's the one.
Yeah, that's cool. I feel like Audrey I feel like growing up I only knew like one Audrey. I don't feel like I meet new Audreys. I feel like Aubrey has almost taken the spot of Audrey.
We see there are a few Audreys we run into, but yes, it still doesn't seem super common, although I think it is more common than it was when I was a kid.
Yeah. And it's also not so weird that she might be able to find it at like a gift shop, with a name tag. So
that's right.
Yeah. As opposed to Devin with an O, which just so you know is never the option of the gift shop.
Right, so, I'm sure. Yeah.
For some reason, it's the whenever we talk about trauma you got from your parents, that's what I say. Is like I'm never well represented at a gift shop, and it's your guys' fault.
Yeah, I am. I can't complain.
Yeah, you're everywhere. Yeah. Common names. You probably could like people spell your name correctly. Oh, well, do they actually know?
It's Y because it's I or Y. So you get it's kind of flip flop. Most people will default to the I, but just it's.
I would default to the I. So there we go. Next question: do you have a favorite TV or movie dad?
Oh, good question. Of course, I want to do a bit and say Walter White. But
you're not you wouldn't be the first person to say Walter White. Yeah. You're okay.
I think I gotta go with Hank Hill.
Yeah,
King of the Hill. Yep. I love King of the Hill. I think it's such a great show. I'm excited that it's coming back.
Yeah.
And I've always he's such a Dorcas, but you can tell he loves his family and he's a good dad. Peggy is kind of nuts and he really has to put up with a lot. I love Bobby. I've always related to Bobby.
Yeah.
But I just love this. I love the Hank Hill, everything about Hank Hill characterization. I think it's really great. So, yeah.
I think King of the Hill is number one on my list of shows. Whenever I was a kid, it was so dry and so level that I didn't think any of it was funny, because I would go from watching The Simpsons or The Critic, which is one of my favorite obscure cartoon shows of all time.
I could talk about The Critic forever. I love The Critic.
Do you ever randomly say Hachi Machi and no one?
Machi. It stinks.
It stinks.
Yes, it stinks. My wife and I are both big Critic fans. I think Lovitz is the best. But yeah.
My favorite obscure, just side tangent, is to say penguins can't fly, for whenever they're flying to the private island and the drunk dad walks in and sees the penguin flying, and he's like, it's a penguin and it's been drinking. Penguins can't fly. And then at that moment, the plane starts to nosedive. It's just so as if that's the moment that the penguin finally remembered, wait a second, I shouldn't be drinking, nor should I be flying. And then it all goes down. But anyway.
I also think I am a strong believer. I think the Critic theme song is one of the best TV themes of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Right. It's so good.
So good.
I think is it Alf Clausen? It might be. I'm
not sure.
But it's a great theme song. Yeah.
Yes. But I would go from watching the zaniness and the stupidity of those shows to then watching King of the Hill, and I'd be like, I don't understand what any of this means. And now as an adult and a dad, I'm like, oh, Hank Hill is hilarious.
Yes, that's right. And it's such I think that was Mike Judge's next thing after Beavis and Butthead,
it was,
I think. Yeah. And it's such a different, it's all this, it's not all, but it's very character-based comedy.
Yeah.
It's very emotional. It's very heartfelt sometimes. It's great.
Yeah. To go from masturbating in a shed jokes to basically an emotionally repressed man in Texas trying to provide for his family. It's just dressed different.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So anyway, next question. You might not have one. Do you have any go-to replacement curse words? Whenever you stub your toe, Audrey's in the room, you shouldn't curse, but you want to curse. What word do you say?
Well, as a professional vulgarian, I do think about this a lot. My all-time favorite thing, and I can't say I actually use this that much, but it's a famous censored for TV version of the movie Repo Man, where they substitute for motherfucker, they say melon farmer. And it's flip you flipping melon farmer. I think that's so great. But actually, literally 2 days ago, Audrey's main stuffed animal is a cat named Fluff, foot tall, white, fluffy cat.
Yeah.
And Audrey is also at 11. She's very excited about swearing.
Okay.
And our policy on swearing, I don't care if you swear at home within reason. I just don't want to hear you swearing in front of other kids at school or camp or whatever. In the house, I mean, within reason, but who really cares? Yeah. So the other day we were talking about her cat, and I was like, Audrey, actually, that's a really good substitute for fuck. Say fluff.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe this fluffing thing over here. Yeah. And I was like, that's actually funnier than swearing.
It is.
If you say fluff instead of fuck, that's really funny. And that's her main focus right now. She wants to do bits and be funny. And so I was like, Audrey, this is a good one. I think this is going to really work coming from you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, my favorite TV edit is always The Big Lebowski, whenever Walt goes to destroy the car and says, this is what happens whenever you find a stranger in the Alps. When you find a stranger in the Alps and just beats the car with and it's just, and then I'm pretty sure Phoebe Bridgers named her first album called Stranger in the Alps based off of that.
It's amazing
placement.
Iconic. Absolutely.
Iconic. It's just that. And I think in White Men Can't Jump, there's a moment in which one of the female characters says, oh, that's make love. And it's just clearly, she did not, that's the calling in life that I missed out on, is replacement swear words in movies. Just because, it's an improv writer just sitting there being
yes, that's right. You got to see this TV edit of Repo Man. It's awesome.
Okay.
And it has some really creative choices.
Okay. I will go down the rabbit hole later and figure that out. Okay. Second to last question. What's the favorite kids toy or activity that you do with your daughter? Something you really enjoy, like an activity you like doing with her a lot.
Like as not just a toy, but a thing we do together.
Yeah.
We do chess and word puzzles together.
Okay.
So like I'll go on chess.com most mornings, although we've kind of moved towards word puzzles more recently.
Yeah.
And we'll do a chess puzzle or we'll do the Wordle or, it's like the New York Times puzzles. So like one of my daughter's struggles is spelling. She's not a great speller.
Okay.
And so I try to do word games with her, because I'm a puzzle guy. I love that sort of stuff. And also it like helps with the spelling. So yeah, like online chess or word puzzles.
Okay, cool. That's fun. Now I'm trying to think for the last question. If I want to go, I'll let you choose. Do you want me to go goofy or sincere? Which one would you prefer?
I really could do either one. Let's go goofy.
Let's go goofy. Okay. What's your least favorite kids show? Like whenever Audrey used to put it on, you'd be like, this is the biggest piece of crap I've ever watched in my life. I hate this.
That's a very good question. Because what does a kids show mean right now?
Something your daughter watches. That's what.
Does YouTube count?
YouTube counts. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Great. I'm so as a YouTuber, I am so reluctant to talk shit about other YouTubers.
I get it.
There was, I honestly don't even remember the name. If I did, I would say it, but I don't remember. There was this one YouTuber who she had like an animated kind of avatar. It wasn't a VTuber, but it was something sort of like that, but had the like pitched up, high-pitched voice, which was just like,
no
oh my God, Audrey, please.
Yeah.
Most of the narrative stuff she watches is pretty, well, we direct her, of course, but like is pretty okay. Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of that YouTuber.
Yeah,
but I can't offhand. But it was like real, and because she doesn't watch it anymore either.
Okay.
Because we were like, you cannot watch. You have to turn that off. It's so grating.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that one. I'm trying to think of something she's watching right now that I really don't like. Honestly, a lot of it's like she doesn't watch TikTok. Yeah. Doesn't have a phone. Won't have a phone for a while either.
Yeah.
We're going to try desperately to do the wait till 8 thing where we don't go anywhere near a phone till 8th grade. But she, occasionally she'll see YouTube shorts and stuff, and some of the quote unquote comedy. Look, I'm a professional comedian. I'm not trying to say comedy is universal or even that I have good taste in it, but some of the fucking comedy on these YouTube shorts is like, was my taste this bad as a kid? She'll be like, Dad, you gotta see this. It's so funny. And I'm like, what? No.
Where was the joke? Where's the punchline? Normally there's a structure.
Yes, that's right. But you don't want to, again, I don't want to prescribe what she thinks is funny because the worst thing you can do as a parent is say, that's not funny, because then you just drive them towards it all the more.
Pretty much.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, nice. That's great.
Yeah. That's whenever you say, since it's like, what did you think was funny about that?
Yes.
Why did this make you laugh? As you don't laugh.
Yeah. So I guess as a broad category, and look, I think there's a lot of really, really great comedy happening on TikTok and YouTube Shorts.
There is
some amazing stuff. And anyone who's like, TikTok comedy sucks doesn't know what they're talking about.
No, it's pretty good.
It's just wrong.
Yeah.
But that said, there's a lot of comedy where it's out there where it's like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
What are we trying? Yeah.
But anyway, other thing I have for you is just a moment for self-promotion. If you want to follow your Instagram, listen to your music, like how do we find out more about you?
I am at Bwecht, BWECHT, on pretty much everything. You can find all my various projects there. The one that since we're on a podcast, I'll promote again my podcast, Leighton Night with Brian Wecht, which is my podcast I do with the amazing Leighton Gray, where broadly speaking, we just talk to, if you do a thing online, that's who we talk to. Cool. So it's like loose conversation, very much like what we did today.
Yeah.
Just loose conversations about whatever. Sometimes we forget to introduce the show. It's like, it's great. And Leighton is a certified genius. She's maybe the smartest person I know. Okay. And it is a joy to talk with her. So you can find that Leighton Night with Brian Wecht wherever you get podcasts.
Cool. Awesome. But yeah, pretty much I'll edit the episode. I'll like email us about when I think I'm going to release it. I think right now I'm going to do a 2-week 2-episode week whenever I do you guys. That way, like Jim would be on Monday and you'd be on Thursday and have the full Go Banana Go week. So something like that.
We'll put it on our socials and stuff like that too. Just let me, you got my email now. So just make sure that, I have all the info.
Yeah. I am an over communicator for the most part.
Perfect.
Because
and by the way, if I forget to do it, email is like a black hole for me sometimes. If I don't put it on the socials or whatever, that is not because I didn't want to. It's literally because I forgot. So please do not be shy about saying, hey dude, like, please remember, do not take it personally. Cool. I would prefer a nice reminder to, oh my God, I forgot to do it. Fuck, now I feel like a monster. Cool. Yep. Like, so please don't be shy about that either.
I will not. I usually, if it happens, I'll do like I'll usually do like the email day. I'll be like, hey man, it's out. Should be like the collab should be there to accept. Stories are out. Please repost whatever you can. And then like if 24 hours you don't do it, then the next be like, hey man, just making sure you saw this.
Perfect.
And then if like I need to do it again, then I'm like, never mind, because I don't know.
No, like that should be good. I get it. Look, we're all busy.
Yeah,
we all got stuff going on, and it's 99% of the time it is just I'm busy and I forgot.
Pretty much
but it's like so for exactly that reason, I love reminders, and it's like I appreciate them to me. What the opposite, the other situation, if I don't do it right away, is I'm going to remember it when I can't do it for a month. And then be like, every time I sit down to like do something, I will forget. And then I'm like driving and I'm like, fuck. Okay. So I love a reminder, and don't be shy.
Yep. That happened today. I was driving the kids to the library, and the previous email link I had done for like for a podcast, like for some reason the link to the studio was grayed out in the middle, so the link didn't work. And as I was driving, I was like, wait, did I send Brian? No, I sent Brian an updated link, right? Like, well, just check your phone. I'm like, you can't check your phone right now. You're driving with 3 kids in the car. Like, you can't do it. Nope, and then got to the library, remembered it, double checked, so I had emailed you the updated link and all that. But like, that happens constantly.
I did that today because I was like, okay, is it 7 or 8? 7 or 8 p.m. I think it's because I'm doing the time change also. I was like, I think it's 8. I got it. I'm driving, picking up Audrey. Okay, I got to double check it. Get her, totally forget. Like I pick her up. It's completely out of mind. I'm driving home and I'm like, God damn it.
I get it. I totally get it.
Oh, Devin, this was so great. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Brian, appreciate it, man. I'll see you next time. All right. Thank you for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at the Imperfect Dads Podcast, and make sure to subscribe and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to us, such as Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. The music is provided by The Wild Feathers, and all episodes are produced by me. Make sure to tune in Mondays for new episodes.